tarde.
Jailton, over here. First of all, welcome to Miami. I guess how's fight week been like for you here in beautiful Florida?
Primeiramente, né, seja bem-vindo. Como é que está sendo essa semana de luta aqui na linda Flórida?
Muito obrigado. Estou muito feliz, né, em estar aqui em Miami, em estar aqui na Flórida pela primeira vez, né, acho que é muito parecido com o Brasil, né, o clima daqui típico, né, tropical, né. Eu já gostei muito, já começou bem já.
Thank you. And the weather here in Miami, I'm really loving it. It's tropical, kind of like we're used to in Brazil. So just on that side, things have been very smooth compared to other places where I've been.
And a big name in Curtis Blades, a guy you were supposed to fight earlier. Now it's 3 rounds. So is this a fight that you wanted them to rebook, or when they approached you with Curtis again, were you hoping for a different name?
Você vai ter agora a luta com Curtis, né, que já estava marcada anteriormente. Como que foi receber essa notícia de que eles estariam refazendo a luta? Você estava esperando vir uma luta diferente ou você estava querendo mesmo fazer essa?
Rapaz, pelo fato de eu ter lutado contra Della, né, que era um cara que já lutou pelo Gilbert inteirinho, né, um cara que é muito conhecido aqui no UFC, um cara que tem vários recordes no UFC. Eu achava que ia ter uma luta mais expressiva, né, mas o UFC quis casar essa luta, né. Eu vi que eles queriam casar essa luta, mas a gente está pronto para tudo, né? Pronto para tudo. Então, quem está na frente da gente, a gente está aqui para cumprir o trabalho.
Yeah, after the win with Lewis, I thought maybe they could have wanted me to fight someone more expressive or something like that, but I guess the UFC was set on that idea of having the grapplers competing. But that's fine, that's my job. I'm here to compete, and I have to go through him to go on to bigger things.
Curtis was in here earlier, and he wasn't overly impressed with your striking, but he did obviously say you're an incredibly high-level grappler, but he thinks he's figured you out, like teep kick up the front, double leg against the fence for a takedown. He says you've not faced anyone that can sprawl like him in wrestling, so I'm curious, what are you expecting from him in there?
O Curtis Blades estava aqui agora há pouco, né? Até a gente assistiu. Ele comentou que ele falou, né, sua trocação não tem nada demais, né, não viu nada fora do normal, mas que seu grappling realmente é muito bom, mas que você tem algumas coisas previsíveis no seu jogo, né, que a entrada em geral vem seguida do frontalzão, né, coloca a pessoa na grade e aí da grade consegue derrubar. O que você tem a dizer sobre isso e sobre o jogo dele?
Ele falou uma coisa certa, né, eu sou um cara imprevisível, né, eu sou um cara imprevisível e reparei que todas as minhas lutas agora eu não estou mais dando double leg, eu não estou mais dando frontal, né? Então, o que eu tenho que dizer é que eu estou pronto para tudo, né? Para todas as ocasiões. E gás eu já mostrei que eu tenho gás, né? Fiz 5 rounds com o cara mais pesado da divisão, né? Acho que é Della é o cara mais pesado da divisão. E 3 rounds para mim, e a gente vai, se tiver 5 rounds, se você colocar 5 rounds para essa luta para sábado, a gente está pronto. Eu estou pronto para tudo, para trocar, para colocar para baixo. Ele tem que estar preparado, porque eu não sou apenas mais um, né? Eu não vim só para bater e voltar, eu vim para ficar.
I didn't come here to be just another fighter in the division. I'm here to stay. If he didn't see my striking, it's because I haven't had a need to use it yet. Just the grappling alone has been enough to get pretty much everybody out of my way. I just fought 5 rounds against who might be the heaviest fighter in the division and someone that's very accomplished, and I did fine. If the UFC wants to make it 5 rounds on Saturday, I'm more than happy to take it right now. If he is thinking that I'm that predictable, maybe he hasn't watched the latest fights, but then he might have a surprise there for him on Saturday.
Earlier in this week, he said he was approaching this fight like he wanted to be the heavyweight Justin Gaethje, where he uses his wrestling to keep the fight standing so he can outstrike you and possibly knock you out. I'm curious, do you think that's a wise decision on his part?
Nas entrevistas que ele deu no começo da semana, ele falou que ele quer usar o wrestling dele do mesmo jeito que um Justin Gaethje usa. Usar o wrestling para se defender e manter a luta de pé e buscar um nocaute contra você. Você acha que é um caminho certo para ele? É uma escolha sábia? Lutar desse jeito?
Eu acho que sim, tá certo, né? Eu tenho que pôr o jogo dele, acho, com todo respeito ao Curtis Blades. É um cara que tem história no UFC, né? Com todo respeito. E se ele for pensar do lado de Gaethje, né, contra Khabib, infelizmente, Infelizmente vai ser aquele jogo de o cara ficar com medo de cair. Eu vou dar só um detalhezinho da luta de Khabib com o Gate, né? Khabib buscando o tempo todo fazer o jogo dele e Gate tentando anular. Só que tem um porém, água mole e pedra dura, tanto bate até que fura. E acabou colocando um para baixo e acabou finalizando.
So it's an interesting thing that he's saying, like especially because if he's comparing himself to Gaethje and how he wants to use his wrestling, then I'll be Khabib for him. That's not a problem. I'll get him down and I'll wear him out, and eventually I'm gonna get him down and I'm gonna get the submission. I'm gonna finish him. If that's his plan, to keep it standing, then with all the respect to his skill and everything, he's in for a surprise.
Last one for me, going off of that, he also said earlier today that he compared you to Damian Maia, like good grappler doesn't want to strike, and that he's the heavyweight Merab. What do you think of those two comparisons?
Mais cedo na semana ele comparou você com o Damian, né, um cara que é do grappling muito alto nível, mas que não faz a menor questão de trocar, e ele se comparou com o Merab. O que você acha dessa comparação?
Todo respeito, ele respeitou o Demian Maia, claro, né? É um cara ícone do jiu-jitsu lá do Brasil, né? O cara tem história no UFC também. Merab é um cara que eu sou fã, né? Conheci recentemente, Merab. Cara sinistro, cara que dos 3 rounds que tiver luta, ele tá entrando todos os rounds na queda. Um cara que tem recorde de entrada de queda no UFC. E rapaz, ele falou, né? Não tenho trocação. Ele nunca viu minha trocação, não posso dizer, né? Nada. A gente vai ver lá sábado como é que vai acontecer.
Yeah, I guess Saturday he's gonna find out, because that's the thing. Like, if he hasn't seen my striking, it's just because I didn't really have a need to do any of it so far. But I've been at this for years, and the striking is there. Just haven't had a need for it. If it comes to that, then I'll show it to him. But love Merab. Met him recently. I think he probably has a record for takedown attempts or something like that, because he's relentless. He will be there on your face 3 rounds grinding, and that's what I plan on doing. So it's kind of weird that he did the other comparison first and now he's doing this one, but I guess we'll see on Saturday what happens.
Jailton over here. You recently went pretty viral for a charity MMA match against a Down syndrome athlete. I was just curious if you could kind of give the backstory and ultimately why you decided to get involved there.
Recentemente, viralizou o vídeo da ação beneficente que você fez com o atleta com síndrome de Down. Se você puder falar um pouquinho sobre como que aquilo aconteceu, né, o que desenrolou, como que acabou acontecendo essa situação?
Na verdade, tem um evento lá em Salvador chamado Demo Fight, né? Vários amigos meus lá do Capão da Luta, parceiro de treinos, participam desse evento. E aí o dono do evento me convidou para eu poder fazer uma luta exibição, né, contra um menino especial. Eu acabei topando, na verdade eu não acabei topando pelo fato de eu estar no UFC e eu estar fazendo lutas assim fora do UFC, para não ser multado. Eu pedi autorização ao UFC, o UFC autorizou. Eu fiquei muito feliz, né, em estar fazendo essa luta e estar mostrando para o mundo que o espaço é para todos, né? O esporte é para todos, e eu fiquei muito feliz, né? Se tiver outra oportunidade lá em Salvador, ou aqui mesmo nos Estados Unidos, de alguém poder me convidar para poder participar também, eu estou à disposição.
Yeah, it was an event that a lot of my friends and teammates compete at, called Demo Fight. And this kid who, he competes a lot in jiu-jitsu, like regular competitions, and he does fairly well. And I saw the opportunity, the promoter came with the idea, and I saw that it was a great opportunity to show that the sport is for everybody. And hopefully we can do more and more and empower them as much as we can. If there's ever opportunity to do something like that here in the US or whatever, I'm more than up for it. We got to show the world that, fighting is for everybody, as much as it doesn't seem like it. You see examples of like this kid, and he's there and he's thriving, competing in jiu-jitsu and doing exhibition matches.
Jailton over here, or you have another one? Okay, Jailton over here. So, do you feel as if you need to make a even bigger statement than you already usually go for, given the way the fight with Derek Lewis went? I know you got the result, but obviously it didn't really draw the reactions you wanted to, including Dana White saying it was kind of a fight to forget.
Você acha que essa luta você precisa ter um resultado mais expressivo do que o normal por causa do resultado da última luta? Né? Por mais que você tenha dominado, muita gente criticou, até o Dana White fez um comentário sobre a luta. Você acha que isso coloca alguma pressão em você para realmente ter uma performance diferenciada dessa vez?
Rapaz, pelo fato que eu quero chegar na disputar um cinturão, eu tenho que mostrar o melhor, né? Sábado. Então, pode esperar que eu vou dar um show, né? Eu vou dar um show e tenho certeza que eu vou voltar ao cenário das finalizações e dos nocautes aí. Né? Muita gente está esperando isso e isso vai voltar novamente.
Honestly, the results and the comments from last fight don't really bother me or push me towards how I have to fight this time around. The big thing is I want to get to a title fight, and I need a result. I need a convincing end for this fight in order to get to that. So that's the big thing. You know, if I want to get to where I want to be, I need to have a convincing fight this time around, and that's what I'm going for, and that's what I'm going to get on Saturday for you guys. I'm going to put on a show.
Last one for me. Obviously, I want to get your thoughts on a Tom Aspinall situation with being the interim champion, not quite being able to fight the undisputed champ just yet. So what are your thoughts on that? And do you see it as an opportunity for yourself to go out there and make a big statement Saturday and maybe potentially fight Tom in the meantime?
Se você puder comentar um pouquinho sobre a situação do Tom Aspinall, que ele tá com cinturão interino, mas tá sem luta, né? O normal seria ele estar enfrentando o campeão atual, mas não parece que isso vai sair tão cedo. Você vê isso como uma oportunidade, de repente, para você estar disputando com ele o interino e de repente realizar o interino para oficial, alguma coisa do tipo?
A gente não sabe a situação como está, né? Se o Jones vai voltar, se não vai voltar, se vai lutar esse ano ainda. A situação de Tomás está um pouco delicada, né? Ele está procurando adversário, né? E eu acho que o UFC ainda não achou ninguém assim expressa para colocar para lutar, né? Vai depender muito dessa luta de sábado também, como é que vai desenrolar. E também não sei também se o Jones vai largar o cinturão ou vai o do UFC vai colocar o cinturão linear em jogo, né? Vai que o Jones não queira mais lutar também. Tipo assim, não queira voltar, ou coloca ele de Jones, né? Não sei. A gente não sabe como é que vai desenvolver agora a divisão, né? Mas é um cara que quer lutar, ele tá pedindo para lutar, então tentar ir fazer uma luta boa para chegar e pedir a luta com o Aspinall.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, the situation has so many moving parts that need to line up for something to happen. Aspinall wants to fight, that's pretty clear. He has been asking for it, and he's young. He wants to keep active as much as possible, and I'm the same. Now, we don't know what's going on with John Jones, if he's going to come back, if he's going to fight Aspinall to, make it the linear title, if he's going to try to fight Miocic to that linear title, and then they'll have to unify it. So it's a bit of a weird situation, but I'm here. I want to fight. Hopefully a decisive win on Saturday can put me in the proper conversation for one of those possibilities, and I'm more than ready and willing to fight any of those three.
Two more. Just quickly, the UFC obviously announced they're going back to Rio in May for a pay-per-view, but they have no headliner yet. Are you hoping that, like, with a quick win, you could get a turnaround and fight and possibly headline that Rio card?
O UFC anunciou agora, né, o card para o Rio, mas ainda não tem luta principal. Agora em maio, você acredita que uma vitória expressiva agora pode te colocar, de repente, no main event de maio lá no UFC? Lá no Rio?
Rapaz, eu não sei, né? Até porque depois dessa luta aí, vai estar faltando mais ou menos 8 semanas, né? Menos de 8 semanas para a luta no Rio. Né? Então, para ganhar no UFC, pode oferecer uma luta de expressão, tipo o Pavlovich, coisa e tal. Né, o próprio Ciro Gane mesmo, o próprio Tom Aspinall, né, para poder salvar o card. Só que vai estar 8 semanas, né? Eu não sei como é que vai ser a luta, se caso eu não me machucar, que o Fernando não vou me machucar e estiver bem, eu vou estar pronto, eu vou me preparar muito para poder entrar nesse card.
Yeah, for me it would be great. The big thing is what happens in this fight. If I'm uninjured and everything is in order, it's going to be about 8 weeks, maybe a little bit less than that, but it's more than enough time for me to get ready. But you need a dancing partner for that, so you need to see if any of the people that could be a proper opponent for me, like Pavlovich or Gan or heck, even Tom Aspinall maybe, since it's a pay-per-view, would be ready to fight in sort of short notice like that. But I'm ready and willing. As long as I don't get injured, I'm happy to do it.
And last one for me, can I just get your thoughts on the main event between Sean and Chito?
E a última pergunta, se você puder falar o que você acha da luta principal do Chito Vera com o Sugar Shane.
Rapaz, Essa luta principal com o Shura vai ser... Na verdade, a gente ficou em interrogação, né? Porque Veras ganhou e disse que... E o seu Maria falou que se machucou, que sentiu o pé na hora, né? O joelho. E aí vai ver como é que desenrola.
You know, Vera won, so you never know what exactly went on in that first one, but I'm just happy to be here and be able to watch it and see who is going to be the champion by the end of the night.
Boa tarde. Tamo junto.
Chito,
Okay,
welcome to Miami. How are you?
Good, man. How are you?
So let's just sort of address what's going on right now. Literally about 120 credited media, 40 of them are from Ecuador, so literally 1/3 are here to cover you. What does it feel to have the country supporting you, and can you talk about this moment, what it means for Ecuadorian MMA?
I mean, this is a huge moment for my career, and I know people in Ecuador realize how big this can be for history, for my career, and even for all the Ecuadorians to like celebrate something like could happen on Saturday night. So I prepare very well, and I'm excited about the support and the love I'm getting from the people.
Certainly, Sean and yourself, you both are fighting for the belt this Saturday, but you do have a whole country behind you, and you've mentioned before how you would like to sort of relieve the country due to some of the difficult circumstances that they've been going through. Do you feel like you enter almost the UFC 299 with a bigger purpose?
I believe I try to find bigger purposes than just the hype and fame or money, but for me, it's just by leading by example and showing the people that with hard work and dedication, you can really achieve your dreams, and you can get it done. And a win on Saturday night will definitely give my country something to hope, something to be happy for, and something that hopefully can change things.
Yeah. Sean said you guys have been DMing ahead of this fight on Instagram, and he told us to ask you what the conversations were like on the DM. So
I mean, he's a weird guy, dude. He likes a weird shit. I tried to stay away from it. The only thing I did was send him a picture of me back, and I haven't even read whatever he says after. I get it. I mean, one of his main tools is get on people's head, but good luck with that. But I mean, I'm gonna fuck you up, and I'm prepared for Saturday night. So he's trying to start things, and yesterday he asked me if I was ready to lose the fight. So they didn't catch my answer, which I would have loved the camera catch what I say back to him, but they only catch one side. But that's just one tool to the game, right? I'm ready for a fight. My mind is in the right place, and I'm gonna kick his ass.
Well, there's cameras now. I don't know if you want to fill in the blank for
I asked him to suck my dick.
Okay.
I mean, simple as that. I'm not here to be friendly. I'm not here to be respectful. I'm not a karate guy. I'm a fighter. So you fuck with me, I'm gonna fucking fuck with you. I'm not fucking around, man.
Yeah. And lastly, I don't know if you've seen, but he's been beefing with Ryan Garcia. He's also gone back and forth with Ilia Topuria. And he's also been saying that he doesn't count the first, his loss to you. So I just wanted to ask you, do you see him distracted? Do you feel like he's taking you lightly ahead of this fight?
I don't give two fucks about what he's doing, who he talks for. I focus about myself. I focus about my schedule, my training, my body, my mind, and whatever he's doing, I can give two fucks about him or his life.
Chito, you talked about running into him and inviting him to enjoy you in that way. Do you enjoy this sort of animosity before the fight? Does it give you a little extra spice?
Bro, I'm a street fighter, dude. I don't give two fucks. If you're here and you want to throw down, we throw down. I don't grow up in a pussy ass environment like his. So if you want to throw down him or his team, trust me, I don't give two fucks, dude.
You sort of mentioned that it was a weird DM, but I've got to push on you and say, what exactly did he send you that was weird?
He was just trying to get to my head. The text wasn't weird. He's a weirdo. So I'm like, I'm not going to engage with you on a conversation. That's why you send a selfie back, smiling.
Do you, you talk about how he's a weird guy, but do you still respect his skills, right? He has shown that he's got some great striking.
Of course. I mean, everybody in front of me, I'm not taking them lightly. I know I have never said it's going to be an easy fight. I have never said in the past I'm going to have an easy fight. I'm always there for a hard fight. I'm always expecting the worst, and because the worst can happen very easily in the cage. So with me, it's not like I don't take no one lightly, but I'm not going to fucking be under you and kind of like be afraid of you. I'm gonna go as far as I can to get it done. So, and I've been doing it my whole career in the UFC. I got 10 years fighting for the UFC. I have never been on a fight that I disappoint people.
You mentioned about his mind games. I'm curious for you. You could play a mind game if you just walk out there and kick him in the calf right away as hard as you can. Do you think that could get into his head?
That's exactly what I'm planning to do. I'm gonna get in there, and I'm gonna drill a hole to his face, and then what? There's no talking in there. I know his corner likes to do the talking when we're in there, but I'm like, what are you gonna? I mean, I would love my corner to give me advice to win the fight. If my corner is more concerned about talking shit about my opponent and don't tell me what to do, I wouldn't be with the people. But I mean, the whole circle is just like, it's all a full rainbow in there, right? And we know what it stands for that these days.
Chito, right here. Your coach, kind of, like, or Aljo said it or so whatever, and then.
Oh, yeah, dude. Oh, yeah. He's so fucking hungry for attention. He never got attention in the UFC. He became a world champion. He defended. He got booed in fucking Jersey against fucking Seguro. Who gets booed against Seguro? Holy shit, people fucking hate you. Now you're becoming a YouTuber because fighting career probably is not going well. I don't want to knock down on anybody because I want to focus on my fight and keep my karma in the right direction. But, I mean, he hurt. We have a private gym. There's no janitor in our gym. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't have people. It's the same 3 people year round. But Saturday night, you guys will. I feel probably my biggest threat to him is like I can match his range. We have the same legs. We have same arms. So we pretty much are the same size. Like, I've been in front of him. I fought like guys like Corey. And if I can get to their faces, I can get to anyone's face. So I'm very confident for this Saturday.
Chito over here. How has your approach changed towards Sean since the first time you guys originally fought till now that you're going to fight for Undisputed Gold?
I see like this will be a way harder fight. He definitely got better. He definitely matured more. And I mean, 2 different fighters. It's been almost 4 years, and I'm not thinking because I beat him in the first round, last fight, it's going to happen like that. To me, the first fight, it's over. I'm thinking about the second fight, and in my opinion, will be a brand new fight, brand new opponent. I know we fought, but it's just, I don't like to think about the past. I like to see what's in front of me.
And we saw Ilia Topuria make history in Anaheim when he beat Volkanovski, becoming the first champion to represent Georgia and Spain. So, and he exploded after that. So do you see this as something that could happen to you? I know you're already a huge star, but maybe to potentially explode even more after this?
That's what the winners get. I feel with a win on Saturday night, my name will keep growing, my brand will keep growing, but you know, gotta win first. I feel like that's the most important thing, and I'm focused and I'm ready for Saturday night.
And the focus is on Sean, but if you become champion, how do you envision your title reign as a UFC champion?
I will keep it real. I will do the same thing I've been doing through the years. I will defend the belt against whoever is number 1. I'm not gonna start getting picky or try to go to a different weight class. So whoever is next in line, send it to me and just do it like that, like a real champion.
Chito, right back here. You mentioned that Sean is a better fighter now. Just specifically, how do you feel he's improved? And then conversely, how have you improved since that first fight?
I would say on my side, I fought all the experienced guys. I fought all the former champions. I fought the long run. I had the hardest fight to get to this point in my career. And for a guy like him, he's very talented. I'm sure he keeps evolving and everywhere, you know, grappling, punching, kicking. Like, there's just, if you don't evolve in this game, you're gonna stay behind. So I'm taking this as a big risk, but will bring a big reward.
And then you talk about the long road getting here. Do you prefer having taken that road? Like, at the end of the day, is it better to have done it this way?
I don't know other way. I've been in this spot for my whole life. When I used to fight in South America, when I used to go to Peru, to Mexico, I never got like an easy fight. It was never like, okay, we're gonna build your record a little bit. I don't have an amateur record, so for me it was always getting into the fire and fight guys that I was supposed to lose pretty much my whole career, and that definitely gives me something or make me find something inside me that most people won't find out because I went the long run.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chito, over here. When Sean was asked earlier about his prediction on the fight, he said he was putting you to sleep. What are your predictions for the fight on Saturday?
Winning. Kicking his ass.
Thank you, Chito.
Thank you.
Ecuador.
Arrecho.
Over here, please. Over here. Over here. Hello, Chito. I knew for a good source that the president of Ecuador, Daniel Noboa, is following your fight against Sean O'Malley. Is it possible that he will go to the Casilla Center and sit next to the Dana White?
It's very possible. It's a president of a country, so it will be easier to get him that type of seats. But I haven't talked to Daniel. Two, I gotta see if he's here first.
Thank you, Chito.
Thank you, guys.
What's going on, Pedro? Pedro, how are you, man?
Good, man. How are you?
Doing well. How's fight week going so far here in Miami?
Oh, great. Actually, it's the first time that I'm fighting in the same city that I live. Been living here in my South Florida the last 7 years. So it's definitely something really good that you don't have to travel. You just stay local at your city and get to do what I love to do.
Yeah, and we've heard fighters over the years. Some of them seem to like fighting at home, like in their home area. Other ones don't like it. It kind of feels weird to them. So you're obviously on board with this.
I like it. I like fighting. I fought in São Paulo. I think it was 3 or 4 UFCs. I fought in LA I used to live in LA too, so it's really nice to be able to fight in the city that you're living and get the crowd hyped up, giving a little support. It's always nice.
This is a pretty big event, obviously a stacked card. This matchup with Kyler Phillips, I guess, what do you feel like it means to you in your career?
Oh, it means a lot. It means everything, you know. I'm ready, hungry. I've been training with the best for the last few years, fighting the best fighters the UFC has been offering me. Never decline any fight. So my next challenge is Kyler Phillips, and I'll be ready to give him my all and take this victory Saturday night.
Was he somebody that was, on your radar at all when you were looking for a fight? Is he somebody you saw yourself fighting next?
No, not really. I was just trying to improve myself, my skills. See, the last fight against Chito, I thought I did a pretty good job. First and second round. Third round, he kind of landed like more jabs and stuff like that for the fact he's a little longer, so able to go back and see all the mistakes and just get better.
That was a really close fight. When you went back and watched it, did you feel like you had done enough to win?
I think I did a really good job. I thought, and many people thought that I won the first and the second round. It was close, but I have a little more volume than Chito. But at the end of the day, that's the judges that call the fight, and so be it.
Yeah, and I guess, is there any sort of silver lining that you can pull out of that where it's like, hey, the guy that I just had a very close fight with, that some people thought I beat him, he's fighting for the title next, so does it give you that sort of encouragement?
Same thing that happened with Sean O'Malley. I won the first round, and then when I got hurt, it was, I think, 15 or 20 seconds left to the second round. So that round, I thought I was doing a pretty good job too, pressuring him, and he was not able to do anything with me. So it's, both of the guys, Chito and Sean.
Having fought them both, who are you taking in the main event?
They're really good. They're both really good fighters. A little bit different technique. One's more skilled, the other one's more durable. That's gonna be a tough fight and a very interesting fight to watch. But I'm rooting for Chito.
Pedro, over here, other side. At this point in your career, do you watch much tape on your opponents to prepare for them specifically, or have you seen so much that you kind of know what's coming from everyone?
No, I do. My coaches, they're the ones that see more than I do, and we talk a lot about strategy, playing, and things like that. But me and myself, I like to watch some of the stuff, some of the clips, just to make sure nothing will be surprise me and things like that. But my coaches, they're the one that do this job better.
So when you're watching Kyler, does he present any issues that you haven't really faced before in the octagon?
Not facing, like, nothing that I didn't face before. He's good, upcoming fighter. He likes to fight. And that's a characteristic that I have in my style too. Every time I step in the octagon, it's, I step in there to fight. And I see some of that on him too, which made me excited and to be like a good fight Saturday night.
And do you feel like sort of the forgotten man in the division when they're talking about, like, title opportunities and everything? Because if you look at the greatest bantamweights of all time, like, you've pretty much fought in all of them, including some of the guys that aren't even in the UFC anymore. So when people are like fantasy matchmaking this division, do you feel like they're kind of overlooking you a lot?
I don't think so. I got a lot of good fights, a lot of big fights, and definitely. It's a lot of fighters out there. They are a couple fights that I was very close to be the next contender, kind of lose over decision. One's against Frankie, which thought I was a little bit too. And the other one a few years ago against Aljamain Sterling. There was 2 fights that we knew there was like a title eliminator there. So, no, I think that Sean Shelby, he's always pretty fair. And we talk and, and I've been as a top 10 for the last 6-7 years, so it's that kind of fight that I get is always somebody between top 5, top 10, and yeah, man. So it's just part of my story in UFC. I fought many former champions and guys that now is fighting for the title. But I see a lot of my skills too. It was a very close fights. So yeah, I'm just excited to keep growing and to keep proving to myself that I can be right there with the best fighters in the world.
Over here, Pedro. Considering that Kyler is an up-and-coming fighter, as you yourself said, and that he's won 4 of his last 6 fights, including a win against Song Yadong, who's right now ranked number 7 in the bantamweight division. Kyler is younger and he has better reach, but you have much more experience. So what do you think will weigh more at the moment of the fight, his length and his age, or your experience and having fought most of the best fighters in the division?
Yeah, there's definitely two good things that you say right now, you know, but I'm so used to it to fight guys like long, skinny, long reach. And himself likes to come forward too, so I think it's going to be a good opportunity. And my experience, like you said, is something that it's gonna weigh a little heavy in this fight.
Obrigado.
Hello, guys.
Right here. First of all, obviously you train here in Florida, so I guess what's it like, Ben, you know, having a fight so close to your home camp in ATT?
Feeling great. First time I will fight like close to my gym. Yesterday I come here like 30 minutes and travel was done. Acclimatization is done. Super happy that I can fight here because a lot of my friends from gym will come and will cheering me.
When they came to you with Rafael dos Anjos, were you surprised that that was the name, considering, you know, he had fought at welterweight, he didn't seem too interested in coming back to lightweight? You're a guy that's still on the rise. He's been here for a long time. So was it surprising when they offered you RDA?
Not surprised. I was excited when I get offered with former champ Rafael dos Anjos. I am grateful UFC that give me this opportunity because this is great time for me. If I want to be number 1 in the lightweight division, I need to beat a guy like Rafael dos Anjos. I need to beat former champ. So I am super excited this fight, and this is my time. I am ready.
And we've seen the photos of you and Dustin training together and preparing for this. So what was it like having a guy like him, you know, peaking at the same time, preparing for a fight later on in the card with you?
This was great time. We did together full camp. We sparred together 5 weeks. We did almost like 15 rounds together. So every training with Dustin was a big lesson to me because he's really experienced guy from UFC, a special person. So yeah, I am happy that I train with him because, like I say, my confidence is grow up right now.
And the last time we saw you on the scale, it was weighing in as a backup in Abu Dhabi, but then, you know, Charles got hurt, and then Alex ended up filling in. Were you ever contacted that you would be the one that would fill in and not Alex against Islam back in October?
In Poland, this moment was night, and when I wake up, everything was done about this. But the show was Abu Dhabi. Maybe UFC needs something different person. This was like 3 weeks before show. So maybe that's why UFC take Alexander Volkanovski. But after this, in the fight week, I was still back up. This was good time for me because I was really close around the belt, and I make 155 pounds. So I feel what is it. Then I looking forward the we'll did together in the future.
And what do you make of the lightweight title picture now? Because Charles is fighting Arman. We have the BMF fight between Justin and Max. You're fighting RDA. Dustin is fighting another up-and-comer in Benoit, but Islam doesn't have an opponent yet. So what do you make of this lightweight title picture right now?
Lightweight division is mad. every fighter from top 10 thinks he deserves to fight. We'll see. In my position, I think I need maybe one big fight, and then I will be next. In the very interesting is in future, like you say, Oliveira, Arman, Gaethje, Max, and we'll see what's happened in the future, and then we can say some things.
And then last one for me. Can I ask you your opinion on the main event between Sean and Chito?
I think Chito will win. He will beat Suga.
Tips over here. Speaking of Arman, since you beat him a couple of summers ago, he's been on a tear. I mean, he knocked out Dariush, and now he's about to fight Oliveira for the title eliminator. So what are your thoughts on his run ever since he faced you?
When I meet him in the gym?
Yeah, what are your thoughts on what he's done after that fight against you?
One more question, because...
what are your thoughts on what he's done after you beat him?
But when I beat RDA or Tsarukyan.
Yeah.
When I beat Tsarukyan, I have offered with Dariush, and this was my big change. If I passed him, then I maybe fight in the title. But I missed my change, and then next opportunity have Arman. Then he beat Dariush. But in my opinion, this was lucky punch. The next fight, if he will fight with Dariush, the fight will be a lot different. We'll see how we'll see the fight with Charles Oliveira, but I think he submit him.
Last time we spoke to you at a media day ahead of your fight against Fiziev, you were fresh off doing LASIK surgery for your eyes. So kind of want to ask you, how is that now? How are you doing with that now, and how is it as a fighter? How's the transition like?
This was great idea. I did surgery 1 year ago, and this changed my life. Because I don't need glasses, and I see everything. In the life, in the training, so great ideas.
How hard was it to fight, like when you had glasses and you had to take them off for a fight?
Not much better is right now, I don't. When I have glasses, when I take out, so I didn't see very good. But right now, when I wake up or go to training, then I see like 100%.
Josh right here. We just kind of touched on it. The lightweight division is kind of wild right now. A lot of big fights coming up. The title eliminator. So does that motivate you to go out and try and make a statement this Saturday?
Yeah, of course. Like my last fight with Fiziev was a bad situation, because it was injury. I wish quick recovery to Fiziev, but right now I wanna show my best skills. I accept that. RDA will be attack me, so there's gonna be a lot of action, a lot of scramble in the ground. I think this fight can be similar like fight versus Tsarukyan, and I am happy that I can fight with like former champ, tough opponent, big test behind me, but I am ready.
Like you said, RDA is a former champ, and there's been a lot of great lightweight champs, obviously BJ Penn, Frankie Edgar, Khabib, so on and so forth. I mean, where do you rank RDA as a champ in the division?
Right, I think he's good place, right? He's tough, right? Many years he's in the ranking. It's hard to say where he can be, because like every fighter from top 10, top 15 is similar style,
Thank you.
Does Joanna Jędrzejczyk, your teammate, come back? I know that she's been training at American Top Team. Do you think she comes out for retirement?
I don't know. This is decision to Joanna, but I don't think so. She's a great person. She did everything in the sport, and in my opinion, she need to enjoy in his life right now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me ask guys something for Polish fans. Mateusz, przede wszystkim przesyłam z Polski. Wielkie słowa wsparcia, cała Polska trzyma za ciebie kciuki. Chciałem zapytać, bo to są twoje słowa. Zmiany są dobre, zmiany prowadzą do dobrych rzeczy. A co zmienił Mateusz Gamrot w tych przygotowaniach?
I need to say Polish? Or...
Yeah, you can say in Polish.
Dziękuję bardzo wszystkim fanom za wsparcie, że jesteście ze mną i wspieracie mnie w moich przygotowaniach. Bardzo mocno to odczuwam. Co zmieniłem? Zawsze bardzo ciężko trenuję, ale z każdym rokiem mam coraz większą świadomość i jestem bardziej doświadczonym zawodnikiem. Ten camp był naprawdę jeden z cięższych w moich przygotowaniach. Poprawiłem swoje błędy, mam coraz większą pewność siebie w stójce, mam bardziej stabilną pozycję, cięższe ciosy i jestem gotowy na każdą ewentualność z Dosaniosem.
To też twoje słowa. Nie wiem, czy ta walka nie będzie przełomowa. Co miałeś na myśli?
Miałem na myśli bardziej ochocze wymiany w stójce, bardziej ochoczą walkę na nogach. Spodziewam się wszystkiego, że będzie dużo zapasów, będzie dużo parterów, ale też nie będę się bał wymieniać z nim ciosów w parterze. Tak jak starałem się powiedzieć po angielsku, dużą pewność siebie dała mi w sparingi z Dustinem Poirierem. Tak teraz myślę, że będę mógł to pokazać i tą walką chcę udowodnić, że liczę się w rozgrywce o pas mistrzowski.
Ostatnie pytanie właśnie o Dustina. Według ciebie to może rzeczywiście być jego ostatnia walka w karierze?
Wszystko w zależności jak się potoczy jego walka w sobotę w nocy. Ja przewiduję tutaj knockout na zawodniku z Francji. Decyzja należy do niego, więc nie chciałbym się tu wychylać z opinią.
Bardzo dziękuję jeszcze raz na koniec. Od wszystkich kibiców w Polsce. Wszystkiego dobrego. Powodzenia.
Bardzo dziękuję. Thank you.
Kevin, last time we were here in Miami talking to you, it ended up being a good fight week for you in the end. So I guess how's fight week been and training camp been preparing for Michael Venom Page here in Miami?
It's been pretty good. Can't complain. I like it. Miami's cool.
Obviously, the last time you prepared for a high-level karate stylistic fighter was Wonder Boy. Didn't end up going your way. Did you kind of take anything from that camp that you could bring into this camp to prepare for MVP?
The camp was good. The camp was solid. I didn't have Suge there, so that was a little different. I have Suge at this one. He's a juggernaut. It's always nice to have him there. I probably took more away from the fight than the camp. Just don't break your hand.
MVP was in here earlier, and he said that your name wasn't one that he thought they would offer you, but when they did, you know, he could feel the fans were very excited for this fight. And I'm curious, do you feel that from the fans too, considering how popular MVP was before he came to the UFC, and the fact that he's matched up with a high-level striker like yourself?
Nah, the fans are pretty happy. I tend to read the comments. They'd have been a little bit more happy with a Wonder Boy fight, which makes a lot of sense, you know, super experienced traditional martial artists with good backgrounds in that traditional martial artists going at it, but they got me, and I think as long as I'm option B, I'm always a good option B for these guys, and that works for me.
Well, I was going to bring that up because, he said it's basically just, he has a Kung Fu background too, and he's looking forward to, like, two Kung Fu fighters being in the octagon there. So is that how you're viewing it too?
Yeah, everybody's Kung Fu fighting. I think I said that a while back, though.
He said that, considering, you're known to talk in the octagon, he's also known to talk when he was fighting in Bellator, and he said it would be the first in-cage podcast in there when you guys are both talking to each other while you're fighting. So I guess what's your reaction to that?
Yeah, typical big mouth, I always have a casual conversation because that's how you rule the nation, but, we'll see how much talking we do.
And I am curious, how much did you know about MVP before he signed? Because a lot of fighters, they never... Like before your fight with Michael Chiesa, he even said like, "Oh, I would love to welcome MVP to the UFC." Were you a fan of his before he signed?
Yeah, I was a fan of his before he signed. But if I'm a fan of somebody, I don't want to welcome anywhere. You know what I mean? It's like unless it's to my house, eat some barbecue or something like that. That sounds pretty good. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I watched him before. Yeah, I'm a fan of his work. Yeah,
and just the last one for me. Can I get your thoughts on the main event between Chito and Sean?
Yeah, it's gonna be a really good fight. It's gonna be an amazing fight. Chito has a really cool coach. Sugar has a really cool coach. Sugar's a really cool guy. Chito's a really cool guy. May the best man win. But still a Sugar show.
Are you surprised to see him making the jump over to the UFC at 36? Because it's something that he'd been talking about for quite a few years, but he is doing it relatively late in his career.
Yeah, he's definitely doing it later in his career, but, hey, Wonder Boy was old when I fought him and still an experienced vet with plenty of moves up his sleeve. So, maybe the same's here. We'll find out.
And then how much extra motivation is it just to play spoiler to that, supposed big debut?
No motivation whatsoever. I've been gone for a while, so just happy to get back in here.
And last one, I asked him about this as well, but initially when this fight kind of broke, it was on the board when Dana was interviewed with the Nelk Boys or something on a board. Was that a date that was ever offered to you, or?
The original date was like way back in January?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was offered to me. I'm a rather sooner than later guy, and it seems like I'm fighting a little bit later than sooner on this one. And like I kind of put online one day, it's a free body. It doesn't really move you anywhere in the rankings, doesn't really do anything, doesn't give you a bonus or anything like that. It's just a free body, and if you know me, I kind of like free bodies.
Thanks.
Kevin, right here to your right. You fought Stephen Thompson, so obviously you're familiar with the kind of karate style, but MVP kind of does those weird things where, he's dancing, he's putting his hands down. I guess kind of what do you make of that, and was there anything different in preparation you had to do to prepare for something like that?
Nah, you kind of don't really ever change up anything in preparation when you're fighting a guy like that. You can bring in some karate guys. They're never really going to mimic exactly what you want. I did hit a Raymond Daniels, and shout out to him because he was like, him and MVP go back, and he wasn't going to cross that line. So props to him. One hell of a martial artist. No real big changes. Same old same. If my right hand lands, it lands. If my left hand lands, it lands. In Miami, when my left hand lands, it lands nice and it lands nasty. And then I still have some other tricks that I can pull out too.
When he does those things, do you feel like it's more of a distraction? Is it more of a mental thing kind of to distract his opponent? Or do you feel like there is some actual technique involved in setting up his...
Yeah, he's been fighting like that for a long time. And usually when he does it, he usually slaps somebody right across the cheeks. So hopefully when he does it, I'll slap him first.
Kevin over here. I don't know if you've made it clear about your stance on the belt, but I'm curious, on your Instagram it says, I'll be king before I'm done. So what are you referring towards in that sentence?
You know what? When I wrote that, I was probably selling never mind. Let's switch it.
Okay, I'll switch it to a bit of a more fun one. You mentioned Kung Fu fighting. Kung Fu Panda 4 drops while you're here. Are you going to make time for that one?
No. I'll probably wait until I get home, watch it with the kids.
Awesome. And one last one. Your good friend Jamal Hill, he's headlining UFC 300
Yeah.
next pay-per-view. So what was your reaction when you saw that he was going to headline against Alex Pereira?
Oh, man. Yeah, it's, anytime you fight Alex Pereira, I'm like, oh, shit. So instantly called him, was like, bro, right off the surgery, that's fucking wild. He's like, yeah. I'm like, man, my kind of guy. Let's go get it. Do your thing, brother. You guys go out there and have fun. So props to Jamal Hill. He's going to go out there and hopefully grab another world title. And I think that'd be fucking amazing because I don't think he got a chance to show you guys what he could really do last time when he grabbed that belt. So it'd be great to see him go on a run.
I have one more, but ever since you've made your way into the UFC, you've kind of become a fan favorite in every single place you go to. Every arena, it seems like you get a good roar. So what do you make of that? Is that something you even care about? I mean, the fans appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, of course. I definitely care about that. It's better be loved than hated, right? And they say you collect more bees with honey or something like that than vinegar. So yeah, it's always great to have people to like you, and it's always great to be loved. You know, nobody wants to be hated and stuff like that. So yeah, I think it's freaking amazing to be able to go places and to put smiles on faces instead of frowns on faces. So hopefully Saturday night we put the biggest smile of them all.
Kevin, one more right here. Usually when fighters face someone with a big following internationally, their fellow countrymen will kind of, go after the opponent. So I'm curious, has the UK fans been kind to you at all leading into this fight? Because they can be pretty vocal when you're fighting their favorite fighters.
Yeah, you know what? When I was fighting some of these other guys from different places, they tend to come pretty hard. But kind of like my man over here said, I've kind of got a good relationship with everybody. And, they've been pretty nice. And I think they know this boy's been living in Texas for a long time, and he shouldn't have a problem with catching a snake. Appreciate you guys.
Hi.
Well, Gilbert, over here. Obviously, a fight not too far away from where you've called home for a while. You've had the success last time here in Miami. So, how's fight week been like for you in camp ahead of this fight against Jack?
Good. So far, so good. I was super excited to be back. And when I heard they were coming to Miami, I said yes. I mean, on that, it's a great day for me to come back. I was clear to get back on training in November. And when they said Miami, I said, let's do it. And then the first and only name that they said was Jack. Just said, let's go. This guy deserves a chance on the top. And I'm not going to be the guy they're going to say no. Let's do it.
So what do you make of Jack's skills in there? Because obviously he's had a couple split decision wins in a row, but I think people forgot that the 2 fights ago it was very last minute, and then he fought Kevin Holland, who's also a high-level striker too. So what have you made his skill set in there?
I think he's very good. I think he had a little problem with Hafez, Basil Hafez. But that was a short notice. He changed an opponent, changed the dates, like small cage. But I think he's overall super good. I think he's very tough, good boxing, good combinations, come for the finish. The way he went to guillotines on that fight, I think he's confident with his grappling. He can grapple. For sure, he got takedown defense. Training Craig Jones with Volkanovski. So I see a very tough challenge. I do believe I'm going to be able to get a finish, to put him in very bad positions, hurt him, but he's a very tough dude, and I respect that.
Now, obviously, the last time we saw you fight, you said you had hurt your shoulder or something like that. So I guess how long did it take for you to kind of feel comfortable getting back in there, and how long did you take off after that fight?
Yeah, I took several months off. May 2nd, I had 3 injuries on my shoulders, deltoid, trapezius muscles, and AC joint. It was a very slow recovery, and I hate that because I lost, and I want to get back to it. I'm criticizing myself, watching the fight, see what I can do better. I was crazy to go back and fix that, but I couldn't do it. 1 month, I did a stem cell. I couldn't do nothing for a month. Let the body regenerate, and then I was able to avoid the surgery. Then the 2nd month, another stem cell, still waiting a little bit, and then slowly back on the PT. And I was clear to go back on a full training in November. Before that was just PT, strength. But yeah, I was dying to be back, and I'm great to be back now. And especially here in Miami and face a tough guy, it's good to be back right now.
And really, since that fight, the welterweight title picture's relatively the same. Leon's only fought Colby since then, and Belal hasn't. People assume Belal, but then Dana said they even offered Hamzat the fight against Leon. So, what do you make of this title picture right now at welterweight?
I think Belal is next. The guy deserves. He's not in my opinion, my favorite guy to watch, but he does a good job. He went there and then he beats everybody. He's a little bit disrespectful with the guy, like offer Hamza. I don't know if it was Islam, like Shavka. I don't know who was the 3. But I think Belal deserves the title shot. Even then, I don't like him that much. But he been paying the dues, He's been beating everybody. And I think, unfortunately, I wasn't... I didn't say that like a couple of days ago. It was a little... I made a mistake, but now I own that. The guy deserves, he's paying the bills, he's doing his work, and I think he deserves a title shot. I don't know, but it's not me who decides that. UFC gotta. I think they gotta just put on a date and make these guys fight.
What do you make of Leon's coach even saying like they would have been more interested in a fight with you over Belal, even a couple months ago?
I like that, I like it. My ego loves that, but it's not necessarily what's gonna happen. Like I said, the guy deserves get through him, do whatever you gotta do, and then I hope to get that title soon. So next month turns 10 years that I signed with the UFC, so I'm super excited about that. I think I have an amazing career so far, but I'm still not done. I still gotta get this title. I still wanna taste that title. I got so close a couple of times I kind of smell when it slip out of my hands, but still working super hard to get this title, and it's nice to hear that, to be honest, but I still gotta make my homework.
Just a couple more for me. What do you think of the addition of MVP to the welterweight division? He's got a lot of hype.
I like it a lot. The guy is super entertaining. I think it's going to be a crazy interesting. He's thinking a couple stuff. I like it. He's going to be another showman of the division. He's going to go crazy. I think he's going to talk. He's going to punch and look to the other side. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. Tough fight. Kevin Holland is a tough dude. But I think if MVP gets the win, he's going to shake up the division. I like it. I like when it's more attention on the division.
Can I ask your thoughts on the main event between Sean and Chito?
Yeah, tough fight. But I see Sean O'Malley the fastest guy. He's going to be so fast out there. If you got to do that for 5 rounds, I think this time he'll be able to do. He called for this shot. He called it. I think he knows something that we don't know. And super precise, super fast. I like Chito a lot too. I think it's going to be a bang, but I can see Sean O'Malley getting the win.
Gilbert over here. Last time when you fought here in Miami, you were welcomed by the fans with boos due to fighting Jorge Masvidal, a fan favorite. But do you think that'll flip around this time now that you're fighting Jack Della Maddalena and you're the home guy?
I hope so. He has a good interest. I like his song, so people gonna like it. But yeah, I'm at home, bro. Come on, you got all the crazy Brazilian community here. Everybody's coming. A lot of teammates, friends, family. Yeah, I think I'm gonna be the home guy. It's gonna be a lot of noise on my favorite this time.
Your song's pretty cool too, by the way. But how different does this Miami fight week compare to that one against Jorge Masvidal? Just like the fight week in general, how does it compare?
Same business. You still gotta work to do. For sure, I'm enjoying every moment, and I try to pay my dues as well. Like do a good interviews, make sure I treat everybody good. But it's still gotta same thing. Gotta go make the weight, get ready Saturday night and perform.
Obviously, you said you've come close to touching undisputed gold. Other than becoming a world champion, is there any other specific goals you have left in the fight game before you call it one day?
I already have the respect that I want, but I still want that title very, very bad. And the BMF title will be nice too.
What do you have between Gaethje and Holloway?
I like both guys a lot. I don't know, 50-50. It's going to be a crazy fight. I'm looking forward to go there, but I don't know, bro. I like both guys. I didn't like when they closed that fight because I like Max a lot and I like Justin too. And I'm like, man. But it's going to be a good fight, so I don't know, 50-50.
You think they should have gave you the BMF belt when you beat Jorge?
100%. That's it. Thank you, guys.
What's up, Dustin? Dustin, another fight week, but this time no salon quality hair. What happened? Why the buzz cut?
Buzzed it off, man. I don't know. It's time to change it up.
This fight's an interesting one for you, right? Because you've been fighting the top guys for a while, and now this is a guy lower in the rankings, this young prospect coming up, and you've always said, I need a guy to make me sort of fearful to get me back in that cage. Did you see this guy as someone who can do that, or was it, hey, the name came across the desk, I felt like fighting, here we are?
No, it was because he's finished his last 5 opponents. You know, he's a very dangerous guy, young, gritty, just a tough guy. And he's earned his shot to crack into the top of the division. I respect what we do, and that's just how it goes.
Yeah. When you look at things I don't know if you need any motivation necessarily, but do you look at it as like, he's a guy who called for me. He wanted to test himself against someone like me, and it's up to me to let him know that you're nearly there, but not quite yet. I'm still at the top.
Yeah, it's a challenge to myself as well. That's how I went about training camp, and part of the reason I took this fight. It's like, let me see, let me show and see to myself that I still got it to fight these warriors who bring it every time, have that never say die, never quit attitude. That's those kind of fights are what I want to be a part of.
I feel like this sort of happens to a bunch of guys every so often where they sort of say, the end is closer than the beginning is, and then suddenly everyone's saying, they're about to retire, Do you feel like already this week people are sort of looking at you like, well, if he loses this one, he might just disappear?
Yeah, big time. I've been seeing people say that a lot. And I think that's because like a week ago, I did an interview and somebody asked me, is this your last fight if it doesn't go your way? And I said, well, any fight can be my last one, win or lose. I've been doing this a long time. And I think that's where they ran off with it at. But we just got to fight, man. We just got to fight Saturday.
Yeah. The shocking one for me, I think you're plus money for this fight, which has been a while since I've seen you as the underdog, especially against a guy lower ranked. Does that surprise you? Do you feel like, classic, what have I done for this sport lately? They're looking at the last fight and just making judgments of that? Or do you think maybe people are starting to see you as potentially on the way out?
And it could be. It could be both. I lost my last one. He's on a finished streak. He's young, I'm 35. I think he's 28. Maybe that's why. I don't know. I don't make the odds or look into him that much.
Okay. We know what a win does for him. What it does to get a win over you. What does a win do for you on Saturday? Where does this put you in the division if you knock down this younger guy? Where does it put you in the title shot picture and everything like that?
I think a lot of that depends how I win. If it's a big finish or something like that, I believe I'm a win away from a title shot with a great performance. But it rights the ship. It gets me back in the win column, and we take it from there. I try not to look too far past these fights because Saturday isn't here yet. We got to go out there and do the damn thing, and then Sunday, that's when we reassess and see really where we're at and what's next.
Dustin, we're here. I can't remember if it was the countdown or an embedded or whatever, but you said something along the lines of, I remember when I wanted my shot and someone gave me a shot, and now he's looking for his shot. So I'm curious, what fight did you go through that, you felt like, this guy is giving me my shot, and then you got past it, and that catapulted you?
I think if I had to pinpoint one moment, it might have been when I fought Eddie Alvarez in Dallas. He was a former world champion. I had put a streak together. I don't remember exactly where I was, like record-wise, or my last fights before that, but that was my opportunity to fight a world champion, a guy who I grew up watching fight, in Japan, in Dream, and back when HD Nets were playing fights. Eddie's a legend, man. And to stand across from him was like, your idols become your rivals thing. It's like, wow, here we are. He gave me my shot. This legend of the sport gave me my shot. And from that, I think it was just up. Bigger fights, bigger names for me.
So do you think that he'll go through something like that standing opposite of you? Because, you are a name that he wanted to fight specifically.
Right. I don't know. I don't know what's going on between his ears, but we'll see. Everybody's different.
I'm curious, what do you make of this? Like, there's a lot of lightweight fights coming up, but it does seem like a lot of like you, RDA, Charles, like you're fighting this new generation of fighters. Like RDA's fighting your teammate Gamrot, and Charles is fighting Armin. So what do you make of this like kind of old guard of lightweight kind of drawing the line in the sand against these up and coming guys?
It's great to see. It keeps the sport moving, and that's just the way this goes. That's the nature of what we do. Father time.
Just last one for me. Can I get your thoughts on the main event between Sean and Chito?
Yeah, that's an exciting fight, man. I know Sean is the favorite by the odds makers, but it's a coin toss for me, because Chito did beat him. I don't care what anybody says, and I'm a fan of both guys. I'm excited to watch the fight.
I actually do have one more. You fought a lot of like international opponents, like you fought Habib, you fought Charles, and normally when you fight a guy like that's that popular from a country, like their fans can kind of, they lash out at you, not because they dislike you, but you're fighting their guy. Benoit seems incredibly popular in French, so I'm curious, how have the French fans received you and treated you since, this fight was announced?
Oh man, since the fight was announced, it's like my Twitter and Instagram is like full of French fans, like, and I understand. Root for your guy, man.
Dustin over here. Just real quick. A few weeks ago, you kind of spooked us, saying that this bout was off, but then it was shortly, I guess, back on. Can you explain to us what happened there?
Just some miscommunication. I don't want to really get into it, but just some miscommunication. We got it all figured out.
Got it. And you mentioned if you get a big win on Saturday, you're probably one more fight away from fighting for the belt. But aside from the belt, is there any sort of side quests or any things that you like to cross off from your bucket list MMA before it's all said and done?
Side missions?
Yep.
No, the Undisputed World Championship is like the last thing I really want to do in this sport. I've done I feel like I've done a lot. Not being boastful or anything, but I've been fighting a long time. This is my 30th fight in the UFC. I've come up short. I've been victorious. It's been a long journey. I'm thankful, dude. I'm in like a place where I'm content with everything. I'm happy with who I am and the career I've had and being able to provide for my family the way I have, and just it's been beautiful, man. That's the fight journey. And what's beautiful about it to me is I've been fighting for 17 years and I've been surrounded by so many guys with the same dreams and even with the same work ethic. And they get out of this sport broken and broke, and beat up, and I'm just thankful, man.
Yeah, for sure. And as you mentioned, like this sport is tough, and in many ways, you're a winner. You've stuck around for a long time, been at the highest level, made good money. Have you ever thought about an exit plan? Not trying to retire or anything. You're looking great, but have you ever thought about what your exit from MMA looks like?
Man, since I started making real money in fighting, I've been, slowly putting that together. I have so much stuff going on outside of the octagon, businesses that I'm part of, that I own, just a lot. I'm involved in a lot of things outside of fighting, so that's been there for me, It's not like I'm fighting because I need this check. I'm fighting because I need to fight for me. So that's already there.
Yeah. And just a couple more. About a year ago or so, we spoke, and you told me that 170 was likely going to be a thing that you would try. Is that still in your mind, like 170 pounds at some point, even if it's like a one-off fight?
I'm not sure, man. These guys are big at 170. I'm in the training room with them on a daily basis, and this training camp has been the lightest I've been in a bunch of fights. So I don't think I'm big enough to fight those guys. I can make that. I would show up like ready weight, 170. I would get in the cage at 172, 173. These guys would be, how big welterweights get, 24 hours, man.
Yeah. And lastly, at 145 pounds, Ilia Topuria knocked out Alexander Volkanovski, and he's kind of teased about potentially going up to 155. You've had that trajectory of being, a top dog at 145 and then moving to 155 and having that success. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on Ilia Topuria's finish, and what would you think of him at 155?
Man, brutal. I mean, we all know that he possessed those skills and he could do that, but to see it happen to Volkanovski that way was crazy, man, because Volk's a legend. When I made, not saying that Volk's done by any means, but when I made that switch, I was still young in my career, so I had a lot to grow on and kind of build into that frame and continue my skill set, to see a guy go up in weight. I'm sure he'll have success, but it's just a different scenario, We'll see.
Dustin right here. Just to follow up. Just to follow up on that, the tweet you made in the miscommunication, Gilbert Burns came out and said Dustin got paid. Is there any financial angle to that communication, or was it something else entirely?
It was just misunderstanding, man.
Fair enough. And
yeah, we don't need to be watching pockets,
The extra 2 rounds, is that something that you're a fan of? Is that something you
I asked for it. Yeah, I asked for it. I think the better fighter wins, in the long run. Somebody gets caught early, that can happen to either guy. Dry, even submission or knockout early can happen, but usually if 2 men fight for 25 minutes, the better fighter wins. And I believe I'm the better fighter.
And last one very quickly. Gagey, Holloway, BMF title. Obviously, you've got experience with both. What's your pick?
Fought them both twice, man. I know we can't bet, but just judging off the odds, if Max is the dog, you gotta go with Max because of course he can get it done. That's another coin toss to me, but I think Max's length, his rhythm and striking will give Gaethje some problems. And people think Max is small. Max isn't a small guy.
Thank you.
Dustin over here. A lot of the outside noise about you before was, hey, Dustin doesn't fight those lower ranked guys, and now here we are you're about to do so. So is there anything else you want to prove on Saturday night, or is that just all outside noise that you kind of just mute out?
That's all outside noise. I fight everybody. I fight whoever. Just the last stretch of my career has been big fights, big opportunities. What does it make sense to go back down the line and whenever I have these huge opportunities in front of me? Obviously losing this fight, the division kind of being tied up the way it is, it makes sense. Like I said, I respect what we do. I honor this, man. That's just part of the process, fighting guys like this. And I've done it before. I went from a title fight to fighting Dan Hooker 5 rounds, who was on a streak, who had just main evented in his home. I've done it before. That's just the way the game goes.
And how does this home fight week feel to you? I know you're not too far from here, and also you're sharing the card with Gamrot, someone you've been training with a lot. So how does that all feel going into?
Yeah, me and Gamrot were like main training partners this training camp. It just worked out because he does a lot of his work southpaw. He's fighting a southpaw, so it was perfect timing, bro. We pushed each other and had some great sessions. It's awesome. This is the first time in a long time that I drive to the fight. I drove an hour from Coconut Creek to Miami. It's great not hopping on planes and being in familiar territory, seeing my coaches, seeing Gamrot here, Pedro Munoz, guys I see in the gym every day. It's awesome. I feel good.
And last one, really quick. I know you probably get asked about this a lot, but Conor's state right now, Conor McGregor, do you think we'll see him fight again given the situation he's around in, or is that just...
Bro, who knows? Who knows? I'm a fan of the sport, so anytime that guy fights, I'm watching. But your guess is as good as mine. Who knows if he ever comes back?
Yeah, Dustin, just can you quickly go through the process of when you're about to go in a war? Because Benoit said that 3 hours before the fight, he goes beast mode. Nothing exists except on the fight. What's your mental process when you know you're going to have a war in a few hours or minutes?
I don't have a routine or anything that I do. I just kind of chill out. My wife gets here tomorrow. Keep it familiar the way I've been doing it this whole time, If the sun's out, I might go out by the water. Just relax. I take it easy.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. It's going down.
Caitlyn, how's fight week going so far?
Really good. I'm happy to be here in Miami, where it's a little bit warmer than New York. Yeah, everything's good.
I just want to ask off the top, you're being billed with a different last name, but you were married, was it a few years ago you guys got married, or was it, yeah?
Yeah, I've been married for like about 5 years, and I changed my name right away, but I never, legally it was Sermonara, and I just never changed it for the UFC. One, because I have like so many Armenian fans, and they've always been like so supportive, so I always kind of felt like bad taking away my Armenian name because of that. And I just thought it was less confusing, but it ended up being like more confusing because all my legal stuff is Sermonara, and you know, I didn't want anyone to think I was like an extreme feminist or something, not changing my name. So I was like, no, I'm Sermonara. That's who I am legally and everything. So I wanted to keep it that.
Yeah, so technically the same last name, but different last name to the fans, but I'm sure the goal kind of remains the same for you on Saturday. Macy Barber is the task. I guess how'd you prepare for this one, and I guess what do you kind of expect out of her?
Yeah, I'm really excited for this fight. I've known about it for a long time. Originally it was supposed to be like December, and then it got kind of pushed back a little bit. I think she had some injuries. Then it got pushed back to January, March. Just, sometimes the location and everything. So I kind of feel like I had two camps for this because I've known about it for so long. So definitely when they would switch the dates back, it would be a little frustrating, but super prepared because I've had so much time and, thought about it so much. But yeah, Macy's a great opponent. A lot of people know her and are excited to see her fight. She comes forward, she's aggressive, and she's definitely game. So I think our styles together is going to be for a really good fight.
Yeah, what do you make of her recent stretch of success, right? Because she kind of came in, she had a lot of hype, she had some ups and downs, and now she seems like she's really found her stride. So do you feel like with where things stand right now, she's one of the better fighters in this division?
I used to kind of not. I thought she was a little overhyped, before. It's sometimes it's easy to get, have great performances when you're fighting lower ranked opponents, but you have to. It's not her fault. You have to start somewhere. But and I wasn't like overly impressed. I thought she was good, but not crazy. But her last performance against Amanda Ribas, I thought was very impressive, and so maybe she like hit another peak and. She's so young, so you never know what's going to come out of fighters, as her career is still building. But her last performance I thought was really good, so that's kind of the type of opponent that I'm expecting.
Yeah, and she was in here earlier, and she kind of talked about how she felt like you were kind of the gatekeeper to the champion. So I guess for you, and she was also saying, she predicts that she's going to finish you and get a title shot. And so I guess where do you kind of feel like a win over her would get you as somebody that's been like right there near the champion for so long?
Yeah, I think I'm where I am now. I mean, I think I'm ranked number 4. I've been in the top 5 pretty much most of my career. I've only ever fought top 10 opponents except for maybe 1 or 2 of my fights. Yeah, so I don't know like many fighters, guy or girl, that's been in the top 5 for 6 years. But I think that I'm always kind of 1 or 2 good fights away from a title shot. So maybe if I get a good win here and then one more, then the conversation could come up a bit. There's just so many new faces in the division, which is awesome. It's really exciting. And just it depends how matchups happen, injuries and, rematches and everything. So we'll see. But I think, if I had 2 good wins, I could be in the conversation for that again.
Is it kind of interesting? Because, Erin Blanchfield and you are pretty close, right? So I guess, what have you made of her success? And is it awkward at all to have somebody that you're friendly with like that kind of right next to you in the rankings?
Not so much. I mean, I've known Erin for years. We've trained together a little bit, different teams, but we've sparred together over the years. I kind of always knew she was younger, so I just always knew it was like a matter of time till she would be, in the UFC and definitely top. I think she's really good. So, no, it's not awkward. Luckily I've trained with so many guys in the UFC, like guys that were like really close and were full-time training partners, and then watching them get to the top. I saw like Frankie and Marlon, and I've seen that, and it's so many things have to happen for people to fight each other. So to like avoid training partners just because you might fight each other, I think it's kind of silly. But yeah, I'm not surprised, and it's not awkward. It's all business. Kind of going off of that, I remember one press conference, I think the phrase was, you didn't know you could say no to fights.
Yeah.
You just kind of accepted them as they came. Is that still the mindset at this point in your career, or are you looking for like these fights that will kind of strategically get you to the title?
Yeah, I think being number 4, like any fight kind of puts you, any fight you're kind of going to get is going to put you, a good performance is going to put you up there. So, yeah, I mean, just any fight they give me. It's, like I said, if you're in the top 5, every fight's really meaningful towards, like, getting a title shot.
And I think I saw on your Instagram you did some training in Denver, too, with Tisha and Raquel. So what was that like, training with the champion?
Yeah, that was really good. I was there the week before Raquel's fight, so I only got to train with her a little bit. But I haven't fought in a year and a half, so I just kind of wanted to. I don't train with a lot of girls, especially like high level girls. So I kind of wanted just to go out there. I knew there was a bunch of girls there, and just kind of, use it like where I go into their gyms. They have coaches. I had no one with me. And I'm going not knowing what to expect and sparring and getting different looks from different high-level girls, kind of treating it almost like a scrimmage, just because I hadn't fought in so long. So it was amazing there. I loved everyone I trained with. I trained a lot with Miranda Maverick, Rose Namajunas, Raquel, and Tisha were there. So, I had a really good experience there. There were so many fighters, and it definitely helped.
Is that something you'll look to do more? Because like you said, you did that because you hadn't fought in a while. But now that you're back fighting again, will you still try to kind of bounce around a bit while still maintaining your home base in like back east?
Yeah, I mean, I'll always keep like my home base where it is. But I think like in between fights and stuff, it's nice to travel with different people. I made some like good relationships with other girl fighters there. So maybe we could like back and forth bounce for a little bit if I need to. But yeah, I like it.
And the last one for me. Can I get your thoughts on the main event between Sean and Chito?
I mean, I go back and forth. I think one week I'm like, oh, Chito's going to win. And then the next week I'm like, I don't know, O'Malley's going to win. But I don't know. The last 2 weeks I've been kind of going more towards O'Malley. But I wouldn't be surprised how the fight would go either way.
Caitlyn, right here, you're right. You did an interview, I think even last summer at UFC X, where you said some of the time away was just getting some nagging injuries under control. So I'm wondering if you can just kind of shed some light onto what it was that was bothering you.
Actually, so for the past year, I've been going through fertility treatments. And it's been a long year. That's kind of why I thought I was going to be taking off from fighting a little bit longer. But for the last year, I went through like 3 full rounds of IVF. And I had 2 miscarriages. And it's been a tough year. But I wanted to take a break from that, not just mentally, but physically. And going through fertility is so hard. It's so hard that I'm taking a fight to take a mental and physical break from fertility treatments. I'm taking a fight because this is way easier than dealing with that. And it's a shame because unfortunately I know so many people that are going through this right now. I have just my friends alone, my close friends are dealing with this. And you hear it, but people don't talk about it because it's like, it's very personal and it's hard to talk about. But it's really hard and there's so many people going through that, and it's the amount of like mental and physical strain you put on yourself, doing like 4 to 8 hormone injections a day, back to back, not just the mental load, but the physical load. In the summer, I got up to like after I had my second miscarriage and I was 170 pounds and from all like the hormones and everything. So, taking this fight wasn't just, okay, here's a camp, let's get in shape. It was dealing with the mental load of that, getting over that, and then it's like, okay, well now I'm already big for 125, so now I'm even bigger. So I had to kind of reset my body, and I needed that little bit of extra time to get back into fight shape, But the second time I found out, I was like, that night I went to the doctor's office. They got the bad news, and then that night my manager happened to be in Manhattan. We went for dinner and I was like, okay, I need to get a fight. I just wanted a little mental break and something positive. I love fighting so much and it's kind of like all I know. when I'm not fighting, it's like, oh, I have to go into the real world and like have real world-ish problems, and those are really hard to deal with. But taking this break and focusing on fighting has been a nice relief from the stress that I've had the past year. But yeah, like I said, people always like, oh, you're a fighter, that's so hard. How do you do that? Train all the time. I'm telling that dealing with this is my mental and physical break from fertility treatments. And there's just so many people out there that, I'm fortunate enough where I had the opportunity to do treatments. So many people don't even have that opportunity. So I'm not complaining, but if you're people that are going through that, it's definitely really, really, really tough, and they're like way stronger than any of us up here doing fighting.
Condolences, first of all. And
Thank you.
I guess my only other question then is with the time off, just as it pertains to the fight, I know you're taking it as a distraction, but is there any concern on the ring rust front because you haven't been in a live fight?
Absolutely not. Like, I have been fighting my whole life. I've done it all the time. I mean, it's the same. I knew that I was like, oh, that people always talk about ring rust and all that. But one, I've been training for this fight since September. So it's been a long time. And I've trained so much over the years that taking like a little bit of time off is probably better for me. And I'm never away from the sport, even in between treatments and stuff. If I had like 2 weeks where I could train, I was training every day. And I think a lot goes to be said, like, I'm on the mats all the time. I teach women's jiu-jitsu at my gym, Vanguard Academy. And then my husband teaches wrestling, youth wrestling. I'm there assisting him every day. I'm a huge fan of UFC. Like, I watch every single fight. Saturday, early prelims to main event. I'm watching every fight. And I think that even just watching it, it's a lot that you're still gaining, even though you're not training. And to get back into it, I competed at the ADCC trials in I think October, just to kind of get in there, and then traveling to Denver, putting myself out there. I did a few other things that I don't normally do, just to kind of do like a baby step towards fighting, just to make sure that ring rust wasn't an issue. And then I remember my first sparring session, I was like, oh, people talk about ring rust. And then the bell rang, we threw one jab. I was like, oh no, it's fine. Nothing's changed. So if anything, I think the time off and like reflecting on like my development as a fighter and as an athlete, I think has been better because I've had time to look back and be like, oh, what are different changes I could do to get better? And I've implemented those in this camp, and I feel like I've just leveled up so much in this past camp.
Thank you.
Can I just one more? I know you said it was like a difficult thing to talk about, and even people close to you are going through it too. Do you think, like, not responsibility is not the word, but like you should openly talk about this more because so many people are going through this and just kind of keeping it in and struggling secretly and not expressing themselves?
Yeah, it's a weird thing. Like, I've went back and forth, like, should I say something or should I just keep it private, say this? And I don't want to ever come across as someone that's like using my issues to like gain a platform. Like, because when people do that, that bothers me so much. But I do think that, like, even with like my friends and me being open about it, there were so many people that I would tell about it and they're like, oh, you know what? I've been doing that the past year. And then we would talk about it and it would feel good. I would go on social media and see women that would talk about it that I didn't know. And I'm like, okay, there's a lot. I'm like, wait a minute, there's a lot of people going through this, which can be comforting, but it's also like alarming that so many people my age are going through this. But yeah, I just think that just to kind of like show like everyone's going through it and you don't know what they're going through. And I think it's just really alarming to me, the amount of people that are going through this. And if I can like use my platform to just, even if someone sees this and is going through it and they're like, oh damn, because most people that are going through it, they keep it like a secret. And it's just, you're not, like, everyone's going through it and it sucks, but when I hear other stories of people going through it, it kind of makes me feel better, and I see different things that other people are doing, and I just think it's helpful. So if I can like help anyone or make one person feel like, oh, okay, cool, like other people are going through this too, then it's worth it. Yep. Thank you.
Hola.
Chito, por acá. Bienvenido a Miami. Para la entrevista en español sí te cambiaste, ¿no?
Me cambié, me trajeron al niño Moy, así que tenía que ponérmela.
Oye, y tú eres alguien que a través de los años, no es que minimiza las cosas, pero siempre es como una pelea más, este es mi trabajo, pero literalmente estás peleando por un título del mundo, esto es el honor más grande que un peleador puede tener dentro de este deporte, has trabajado años y años para llegar a este punto, estamos a días de la pelea, cuéntame de tus emociones, ¿se siente especial el momento o lo estás intentando tratar como una pelea más?
Pues en temas de la pelea lo veo de la forma como es, pero hablando de lo grande que es un título, de los 10 años que tengo intentando llegar a donde estoy, es obviamente algo mucho más grande, que trae más presión, que trae más tono, más medios, más obligaciones, pero al final del día es algo que he querido tanto en mi vida, que he soñado tanto, que estoy dispuesto a hacerlo todo, ¿no? Pero al final del día, a la hora de pelear es una pelea, ¿no? Y hay que salir preparado y listo para ello.
Oye, y se dieron las cosas perfectas, ¿no? Ustedes dos pelearon en la cartelera de UFC 292, tú ganaste, él ganó el título, tienen esa historia. ¿En algún punto te ibas a imaginar que cuando ibas a llegar al título ibas a llegar bajo estas circunstancias y con una mega pelea contra Sean O'Malley?
La verdad que no, y creo que nadie se lo imaginó así, ¿no? Pero las cosas se dan como se tienen que dar, ¿no? Y la única razón por la cual esta pelea está pasando es porque tengo una victoria sobre él, ¿no? Si yo no hubiese ganado esa pelea o si la pelea nunca hubiese dado, me hubiese tocado pelear tal vez una más después de la de Pedro para buscar algo como esto, pero yo creo que todo tiene su razón de ser y su porqué, entonces lo único que sé es que estoy preparado para el sábado.
Sí. Y generalmente todas tus peleas con tus oponentes tienen una anticipación bien respetuosa. Yo creo que esta es la primera donde se están diciendo cosas y obviamente él busca un poco esto. ¿Eso añade algo al entrar ya a la jaula? ¿Trae algo más de satisfacción ya a la hora de pelear? Porque pues están peleando, ¿no?
Yo trato de mantener la cabeza fría, ¿no? Yo trato de mantener mis emociones donde tienen que estar y no calentarme por palabras, ¿no? Yo creo que alguien que pierde la cabeza solo por lo que diga alguien o por palabras es alguien que no va a estar dispuesto a ganar un cinturón, porque la presión que conlleva eso y la presión que es ser un campeón es mucho más grande que la opinión pública o lo que una persona en específico. Entonces, para mí lo que diga, o sea, un peleador como él necesita que el peleador se debilite mentalmente para poder ganarle. Yo no necesito eso. Yo sé lo fuerte que soy, yo sé lo bien que me he preparado y si es hablar, se habla, ¿no? O sea, los que me han escuchado hablar en español saben que no guardo lo que tengo, que mis sentimientos ni mi opinión hacia una persona. Si mi opinión no es la mejor hacia ti, te voy a decir lo que siento, pero si tu juego es querer meterte en mi cabeza, buena suerte con eso.
Y por último, ¿cómo es la pelea y también qué crees que traes tú que puede marcar la diferencia? Porque tú eres la única persona que ha podido derrotar a Sean O'Malley hasta este punto.
La pelea es una pelea dura. La pelea es dura como todas, ¿no? A este nivel, dentro del UFC, las peleas son las más duras, pero en mi opinión, yo traigo la experiencia, ¿no? He estado enfrente de los mejores de la división, he estado enfrente de contendientes, he peleado con los golpeadores más fuertes de la división, he peleado con los más altos, he peleado con todos, ¿no? Entonces, eso me va a dar un extra el día sábado y al final del día, yo estoy listo para lo que sea. No sé que la pelea vaya, voy a estar listo.
Chito, aquí. Sabemos que ustedes dos tienen muchísimos aficionados por todo el mundo, pero ¿crees que estando aquí en Miami los aficionados en la arena van a estar a favor de ti?
Yo creo que va a haber muchos ecuatorianos y creo que eso va a ser la diferencia de cierto modo, porque peleé en New York, encontré Frankie Edgar y se escuchaba mi nombre y te aseguro que no eran gringos los que gritaban Chito. Peleé en San Diego contra Dominic Cruz y yo podía escuchar la barra hacia mí. Entonces, al final del día, no importa qué tan grande la barra sea, qué tan preparado estés tú, ¿no? Pero hablando de eso, yo creo que va a haber muchos ecuatorianos en el arena y van a haber muchos ecuatorianos alentándome. Entonces, es algo que realmente me va a ayudar, ¿no? Me va a mantener la motivación, me va a mantener la fuerza y dar lo mejor de mí.
Y O'Malley entra a esta pelea con muchísima confianza. ¿Crees que él se olvidó el peligro que tú presentas para cualquier peleador en la división?
Espero que sí, ¿no? Porque si se olvida se lo va a recordar y hay que ver, ¿no? Yo creo que, por más que hable y todo, yo creo que se tomó la pelea en serio, pero al final del día, si no lo hizo, pues más fácil para mí.
Y por último, ¿cuál es tu mensaje para la población de Ecuador y la comunidad hispana en total que va a ver tu pelea y apoyarte?
Pues siempre estoy agradecido con el apoyo, con el cariño y voy a salir fuerte, voy a salir enfocado y voy a salir a ganar para darle esperanza a la gente, para darle una razón de sonreír al pueblo ecuatoriano.
Hola Chito, hace algún tiempo en alguna entrevista dijiste que te daba un poco de molestia que no toda la prensa ecuatoriana te siga. Ahora estamos todos aquí contigo y para ti. Y todo el Ecuador está muy movilizado por lo que va a pasar el sábado. Queremos saber cómo vas a salir al ring o qué tipo de canción vas a usar. Si vas a utilizar algún artista ecuatoriano también, como lo has venido haciendo y desde ya éxitos y felicitaciones por lo que pasa.
Muchas gracias. Pues, canción todavía no he decidido. Realmente espero siempre hasta el final. Justo ahorita me estaban preguntando y me estaban presionando para que diga, pero normalmente yo espero el jueves de noche para decidir. Entonces no sé, no estoy seguro de qué voy a usar. ¿Ecuatoriano? No, ecuatoriano no. Pero no estoy seguro qué va a ser, qué ritmo va a ser, qué tipo va a ser, así que voy a ver.
Una barra especial, porque no tenemos como una barra ni para fútbol ni para otro deporte.
Eso tienen que crearlo ustedes, no yo. Gracias a ti.
Chito, por acá, otra vez cubriéndote para Ecuador. Preguntarte, ¿cambia mucho el campamento de una pelea normal para una pelea de título?
No cambia, el título no lo cambia, lo que lo cambia son los 5 asaltos, ¿no? Se empieza obviamente de menos a más, ¿no? Porque no vas a querer pelear 5 rounds 6 meses atrás, ¿no? Pero nosotros empezamos de menos a más, hacemos rounds de 3 minutos, después hacemos 3 de 3, después 3 de 5 y después empezamos con 3 de 5 y después añadimos 5 de 5, lo cual ya es algo bastante fuerte y lo que hacemos realmente para llegar bien preparados es cambiar los oponentes cada round, lo cual hace el sparring mucho más pesado, mucho más difícil y pues estoy preparado, ¿no? Lo que sí hicimos en esta pelea fue trajimos a sparrings altos, boxeadores altos, kickboxers altos y mi preparación en el grappling y en la lucha fueron gente de mi porte o un poquito más alta. Entonces eso fue lo único que se tuvo que ajustar, pero de ahí el resto fue lo mismo que hicimos similar que hicimos en la pelea pasada y lo que hicimos con Sanhagen.
¿Apuntas otra vez a las low kicks? ¿Crees que eso fue base en la primera victoria que tuviste ante él? ¿Repetir algo así?
Yo en todas mis peleas yo pateo bien fuerte las piernas y yo creo que es algo que él o su equipo tal vez están esperando, como que solo quiero hacer eso, pero yo no discrimino el cuerpo, ¿no? Yo donde sea te voy a dar.
La última de mi parte, agradecerte. Se está dudando mucho si Sean tiene cardio para 5 rounds. Lo vas a poner a prueba, me imagino.
Pues lo que sí te puedo garantizar es que él no está corriendo 15 millas como yo. Y no, si su cardio está bien o no, no sé. Pero el mío, tengo pulmón de tiburón, eso te lo puedo asegurar.
¿Qué tal, Marlon? Por aquí. Jacqueline Enríquez de Quito, Ecuador. Bueno, preguntarte primero, en tus inicios siempre vimos un excelente jiu-jitsu, saber si en esta pelea tú crees que esa se va a ir en algún momento, en algún pasaje de los rounds, la pelea al piso.
Es probable, ¿no? Es probable que lleguemos al piso, ¿no? Los dos pateamos bastante, muchas veces te agarran la pierna, muchas veces alguien se cae, pero realmente si es de iniciar un derribo, no lo creo de mi parte, pero si la pelea llega al piso, estoy preparado para ir al piso también.
Bueno, totalmente. Y en todo caso, tú nunca has sido sometido ni noqueado. ¿Crees que la pelea va a terminar por las tarjetas en una finalización?
Realmente no puedo predecir lo que va a pasar, peor en algo como el UFC, ¿no? Que es en una pelea todo realmente puede pasar y yo lo que hago en lo personal es venir más preparado que nunca, con la mejor mentalidad y asegurar que mi salud esté al 100 y eso es lo único que puedo esperar, ¿no? Lo mejor.
Chito, después de la pelea, ¿un encebollado?
100%. Realmente tengo como unas 3 semanas que no me como uno y ya necesito uno.
Y la última de mi parte, ¿cómo estuvo el corte de peso esta semana?
Esta semana el corte no se ha empezado, ¿no? Obviamente se come menos, se hace el water loading, que es que tienes que tomar casi 2 galones de agua al día, pero de ahí el corte es el día jueves. El día jueves sí, el día jueves y el día viernes no me llamen, que no va a estar bien.
Chito, acá, después de la pelea en Boston, en la post-pelea, yo te recordé que Sean O'Malley siempre dice y siempre repite que para él tú no le ganaste en la primera pelea y tú dijiste que las palabras de él te las pasabas por un lado. Extrañamente eso generó, que las palabras de él, perdón, te las pasabas por un lado. Extrañamente eso generó, por supuesto, mucha algarabía por todo este concepto de arrecho Ecuador, del corazón, de la garra, de la valentía que tú tienes. Entonces, la gente me ha pedido específicamente que te pregunte, ¿qué opinas de las palabras de Sean O'Malley?
La verdad que las palabras de Sean O'Malley son tal vez una táctica, ¿no? Para entrar en mi cabeza, ¿no? Y yo creo que si cualquier ser humano, cualquier persona se enfoca mucho en lo que dicen los demás, no vas a llegar a nada en la vida, porque si a la opinión pública te jode, yo creo que no tienes la cabeza para hacer nada grande. Y lo que diga un tipo como él, pues, me los podría pasar por los huevos, ¿no? Entonces, realmente es simple, ¿no? Es simple y es fácil. Y yo sé que eso le encanta a la gente en Ecuador más que lo otro, ¿no? Entonces, se les da un poquito lo que quieren.
Gracias, Chito.
Chito, por acá. Chito, hace algunos años cuando empezabas, tú decías que uno de tus sueños es que una pelea tuya genere más interés y rating que un partido de fútbol, que un clásico del astillero. Hoy, con la prensa ecuatoriana acá, cerca de 50 periodistas ecuatorianos acreditados, has logrado gran parte de lo que te has propuesto. Queda un paso más. ¿Estás listo para ser campeón?
Estoy listo para ser campeón y realmente contento que pude reunir a tantas personas en un solo evento y yo creo que simplemente mi trabajo incansable durante los años, el seguir soñando, el no desistir a pesar de ciertas derrotas, porque al final del día este es un deporte que tú pierdes una pelea y es como que ya te quieren acabar la carrera, ¿no? Ya no eres nadie, no sabes pelear, ganas una y la gente se olvida de esa pérdida, pero no es como en otros deportes, tú juegas 15, 20 partidos, pierdes uno y no pasa nada, pierdes 10, ya te fuiste a la B, pero ganas uno y otra vez como que si no pasara nada. Entonces es bien difícil para un peleador estos altos y bajos porque como es 1 contra 1 y no peleas todos los fines de semana, es muy fácil que se olviden o que se acuerden de ti, pero al final del día, lo que siempre he dicho, ¿no? Mantener la cabeza firme, los pies en la tierra y seguir hacia adelante, ¿no? Y hoy por hoy pues se ha podido juntar al Ecuador entero.
La última de mi parte. ¿Qué le dices a ese Chito Vera que empezaba hace algunos años, que soñaba con solo llegar a la UFC a vísperas de una pelea por el título?
Pues realmente no cambiaría nada, no. Hubiese seguido tomando el que hasta el día de hoy. Tiene sangre, está sucia, pero yo regreso a California o donde sea que viva y la pongo en el mismo lugar y es la misma bandera que he usado durante todos estos años.
¿Cuál crees que fue la pelea como el punto de inflexión para que desde ese salto de popularidad en Ecuador, que te sigan, que estemos tantos medios ecuatorianos de aquí, cuál crees que fue ese salto?
Yo creo que la pelea con Frankie Edgar fue una pelea que en serio me puso en el mapa y fue la pelea que me hizo saltar, ya que fue en el Madison Square Garden, fue en un pay-per-view y peleé bien arriba en el main card, peleé una pelea antes del Common Event. Esa pelea yo creo que fue la que me dio ese salto, ¿no?
Y la última, Chito, ¿qué significó para ti en este campeonato en específico tener a Jason Parillo como tu head coach? Porque ya tiene varios peleadores que han sido campeones con él.
Pues el coach estaba conmigo en las últimas 7 peleas y realmente fue la clave fundamental para que yo pueda dar ese salto, ¿no? Fue la persona que cambió mi juego para bien y me dio los consejos correctos para llegar a donde estamos.
Chito, ¿qué tal? Por acá. Alfredo, de Ecuador, también de Guayaquil. Felicitarte por todo lo que estás logrando y consiguiéndote. Venimos siguiendo hace mucho tiempo, aunque es mi primera vez siguiéndote en una pelea. Te pregunto de parte de Sean O'Malley, Él es un striker, sabemos que tiene una derecha muy fuerte. ¿Hay algo más que te preocupe de él, de su estilo? ¿Lo ves un poco más completo ahora que ha evolucionado, que es campeón? ¿O crees que solo en el striking se va a basar?
No, aparte de la mano derecha que la tiene, es rápido, pega duro, patea bastante, se mueve mucho y yo podría asegurar que tiene buen piso, ¿no? A pesar de que la gente dice que no tiene piso y eso, a veces que no lo enseñes no significa que no lo tengas, ¿no? O sea, yo, en lo personal, si yo podría solo golpear y patear sin el resto, me sentiría cómodo, pero al final del día, a veces un scramble en el piso, una revuelta, te acelera un poco el corazón y te hace cansar más rápido que solo golpear. Entonces, yo creo que es completo y estoy listo para que esta pelea vaya donde tenga que ir.
¿Qué nos hace falta, Chito, para llevar la UFC a Ecuador? Estás tú hoy por el campeonato mundial, está Michael Morales haciendo las cosas bien, recién estuvo Carlos Vera, tenemos a los hermanos Luna Martinete, uno de ellos, Adrián, es campeón en la UFC también. ¿Qué nos hace falta para llevar esa UFC a Ecuador?
Eso es uno de mis sueños más grandes, pero yo en lo personal creo que, por ejemplo, México tiene ya campeones, ¿no? Y ex campeones. Está Alexa Grasso, está Jair que peleó por el cinturón, fue campeón interino, Brando que fue campeón, perdió, volvió a ganar el cinturón y ellos fueron la semana pasada y fueron en el 2019. Eso te da a decir que lo difícil que es que vayan a tu país, ¿no? En México ya construyeron un performance center, en México ya tienen como que una infraestructura más grande en el deporte en sí. En Ecuador todavía no hay eso. Y algunos de esos ecuatorianos pelearon en contenders, no ganaron. Entonces, hoy por hoy va a ser más fácil que vayan a España. Hoy por hoy va a ser más fácil que revisiten Argentina y otros países. Y es duro, ¿no? Porque uno quisiera ir a Ecuador, pelear en Ecuador, pero si te pones a ver a los alrededores, y yo con la experiencia que tengo, en temas de hoteles, seguridad, no hay mucho el espacio todavía, ¿no? Entonces yo creo que es algo que va a pasar y obviamente esa responsabilidad la tengo yo el día sábado, ¿no? Ganando esa pelea ayudaría un poquito a que eso pase un poco más rápido.
Y la última, Ecuador ya es referente de las artes marciales mixtas en Sudamérica, en Latinoamérica, ¿lo crees?
Yo creo que sí, 100%. Cuando yo empecé mi carrera, Perú era el país más duro de los cercanos, ¿no? Después Brasil, muchos peruanos peleaban en Brasil, muchos peruanos llegaban a eventos grandes en Sudamérica y hoy por hoy Ecuador ya tiene sus peleadores, ya tiene su gente saliendo del país y buscándoselas, entonces eso está bien y que sigan adelante y que le sigan dando.
Arrecho, Ecuador.
Gracias, bro.
Chito, ya has manifestado que no vas a buscar llevar la pelea al piso. Sin embargo, te hemos visto entrenando con los hermanos Méndez, que son sin duda uno de los mejores jiu-jitseros del mundo, de la historia, ¿no? Y sin duda la academia en Costa Mesa es una de las mejores del mundo. En el caso de que la pelea termine en el piso, la comunidad jiu-jitsera en el Ecuador te recuerda mucho en tus inicios dentro de esta disciplina marcial en el gimnasio de la Católica. ¿Cómo te gustaría que se desenvuelva la pelea en el piso? ¿Buscarías tal vez establecer una posición dominante y acabarlo con ground and pound o te gustaría obtener una finalización?
Yo creo que todo depende, ¿no? Cómo se sienta todo una vez que lleguemos al piso, en caso que lleguemos a llegar al piso. Y sí, no, yo empecé mi carrera en Jiu-Jitsu y practico mucho Jiu-Jitsu, porque a veces si solo trabajas el striking o solo trabajas la parte de arriba y llegas al piso te vas a cansar, ¿no? Entonces, la razón más grande por la cual entreno mucho grappling es perder ese cardio, porque es un cardio muy diferente al cardio del striking, al cardio de la lucha. Entonces, trabajar con los Méndez es de las mayores armas que tengo, pues ya que son extremadamente buenos, tienen muy buenos alumnos y fue como empecé mi carrera, ¿no? En esa época en Ecuador habían muy pocos jiu-jitseros cuando yo empecé y el nivel era muy alto.
En ese caso, ¿cuál es tu finalización favorita tal vez para intentar buscarla?
Yo siempre, mi finalización de las mejores son los triángulos, ¿no? Puede ser invertido o normal. Y últimamente he trabajado mucho en los ataques de pierna y he trabajado mucho en todo eso, en las rodillas, los heel hooks, todo eso.
Chito, sé que estás enfocado en la pelea primero, sin embargo, ¿has pensado tal vez cuál sería tu decisión para el siguiente combate, si es que logras coronarte campeón?
La verdad que no, la verdad que prefiero llevarlo un paso a la vez y no adelantarme mucho a las cosas que se vienen, porque después pierdes el enfoque y pierdes la concentración en lo que se viene, pero primero es lo primero, hay que ganarle y yo creo que de ahí se puede ver qué se hace.
Y por último, para toda la gente de Ecuador que está viendo la pelea por el título del peso gallo de UFC como un partido de final del Mundial, ¿qué podrías decirle a todas esas personas que te han seguido a lo largo de tu carrera y que bueno, ahora estás a un paso de conseguir tu tan ansiado sueño?
Pues para mí es que sigan mandando las buenas energías, ¿no? Que es lo único que realmente me puede ayudar y como ecuatoriano quiero darle esa victoria al Ecuador, quiero llevar ese cinturón al Ecuador y es algo que me hace levantarme todos los días con ganas y siempre agradecido con el apoyo de la gente.
Gracias, Chito. Muchas gracias.
Hola. ¿Qué tal, Chito? Buenas tardes. Alejandro Fierro, de Diario El Universo. ¿Qué tiene de especial este enfrentamiento, ya casi mejor dicho una rivalidad con Sean O'Malley desde el 15 de agosto de 2020? Tal vez luego del desenlace de esta pelea visualizas una trilogía.
Y en mi opinión, en caso de ganar el día sábado, ya un 2-0 la trilogía no tendría sentido, ¿no? Yo creo que todo viene si llegamos al empate, ¿no? Si estamos en el 1-1, pero yo realmente tengo mucha confianza en mi preparación y lo que hemos hecho para esta pelea y creo que es una pelea muy favorable para mí.
Lo especial
es que es por el cinturón. Yo realmente no tengo nada en contra de él, no estoy pendiente de él, realmente no me importa, ni él ni de nadie en la división, pero que sea por el título es algo muy especial.
No solo hay muchos aficionados detrás de ti, hay muchos deportistas que te tienen como ídolo, futbolistas, luchadores. Incluso el presidente de la República es uno de tus seguidores, lo mismo su esposa, la primera dama, Lavinia Balbonesi. ¿Cómo tomas esto?
Pues yo lo veo más como... Daniel es mi amigo, Daniel es alguien que lo conozco hace muchos años y apoyó mi carrera antes que mucha gente me hubiese apoyado, ¿no? Entonces con él tengo otro tipo de amistad, ¿no? Es alguien que lo he tenido presente toda mi carrera, que mantenimos contacto durante toda mi carrera y lo aprecio mucho, ¿no? Aprecio mucho su apoyo durante los años y estoy feliz que él haya ganado como presidente del Ecuador. Y de ahí, hablando de los deportistas que me siguen, ¿no? Hay unos deportistas que yo crecí admirándolos, especialmente Antonio. Antonio es alguien que para mí siempre fue grande, que siempre hizo un poco más que el resto, ¿no? Fue el que llegó al Manchester, tomó la posición más difícil que fue la de Ronaldo, que es un hombre gigante y no le quedaron grandes los zapatos, hizo un excelente trabajo y de ahí pues cada vez que tengo un vínculo o llego a conocer a nuestros atletas yo trato de mantener una buena relación porque son personas que te pueden ayudar a crecer en tu carrera, te pueden dar un buen consejo o simplemente el hecho de rodearte con gente así te va a hacer crecer.
Uno de esos nuevos ídolos es Moisés Caicedo. Tienes la camiseta con su nombre y su número, juega en el Chelsea. Ha tenido también altos y bajos. ¿Qué mensaje le puedes dar?
Pues alguien como Moisés es joven, ¿no? Es muy joven y yo vengo de abajo, ¿no? Pero él realmente viene de abajo. Él viene de lugares que yo creo que nadie en este cuarto sabe lo que es, ¿no? Es alguien que salió de las calles y llegó a lo más alto y ver cosas así. A veces veo que solo porque es el jugador más pagado en la historia del Ecuador, ¿verdad? Y no hace algo bien, ya todo el mundo le está tirando mierda, ya todo el mundo se le va encima. Pero nadie de nosotros está en esos zapatos. Nadie de nosotros tenemos un cheque como esos. Y nadie de nosotros tenemos la presión que es jugar al nivel que le está jugando. Entonces cuando yo a él no lo conozco en lo personal, solo admiro lo que veo de afuera. Pero por ahí vi un par de veces que lo estaban atacando por las cosas más mínimas. Digo, el que lo está atacando, uno es Chito. Y tal vez tiene envidia de lo que él tiene, ¿no? Entonces, a personas así hay que aplaudirlas, ¿no? A personas así hay que darles apoyo, porque no llegaron ahí fácil. No fue que le hicieron el camino, que le dieron la oportunidad de estar ahí solo porque sí. Él está ahí porque se lo ha ganado.
Finalizo con esta. Son Yadón ya se quiere subir a la camioneta para un posible enfrentamiento contigo. ¿Qué le dirás al chino?
Pues que se enfoque en su pelea, que se enfoque en su pelea, que él tiene sus peleas y yo tengo la mía, y si nos toca volver a ver en algún momento le voy a volver a ganar.
Gracias, Chito, éxitos.
Gracias a ti.
Peter, obviously it's been a while since we last saw you in the UFC octagon, so I guess how have the last several months been for you, and what have you spent your time away from fighting doing?
Прошло достаточно много времени с твоего последнего боя. Как ты провел этот год?
Да, прошло год с моего крайнего поединка. Отлично провел время, отдохнул, даже соскучился по всей этой атмосфере, поэтому в предвкушении.
Yeah, it's been a year since my last fight. I had a good time, had a good rest, and even missed this fight week atmosphere.
Was it your choice to take some time off, or were you hoping to get back in there sooner, and then your team and yourself kind of decided, maybe some time away from the octagon to just focus on training for fun rather than for a specific opponent? Was that your decision?
Был ли это твой выбор, сделать такой большой перерыв, либо ты хотел вернуться раньше?
Это был мой выбор. Я хотел вернуться именно на UFC 299.
Yeah, it was my choice, and I really wanted to get back at UFC 299.
There was rumors that you and Song would have been fighting, in December, and then it didn't happen. Was that accurate, and are you happy now that you did get the Miami date?
Были слухи о том, что ты с Сонгом должен был драться в декабре. Правда ли это, или ты изначально хотел драться в Майами?
Это слухи. Я об этом поединке особо не знал и не имел желания. У меня было желание подраться на UFC 299.
It's only rumors. I didn't have a desire to fight in December. I found out about this fight also online. I had a desire to fight at UFC 299.
And what do you make of Song's skill set in there? He did an interview earlier in the week, and then he said it again today, that he believes he's the best boxer in the bantamweight division, and he's using kind of this fight as a way to kind of prove that he is the best.
Что ты думаешь о его навыках? Ранее он говорил, что он лучший боксер в дивизионе, и он использует этот бой, чтобы доказать, что это так.
Ну как он может быть лучшим боксером в дивизионе? Я не знаю, кого он побеждал и вообще занимался ли он боксом. В субботу я покажу ему, чей бокс лучше.
How he can be a best boxer in division? I don't know who he had won in the past. And this Saturday, and I don't know what's his boxing pedigree, but this Saturday I'm going to show him who's the best boxer.
And what do you make of the bantamweight title picture now that you have returned? Obviously, there's a new champion in Sean. Aljamain's gone up to featherweight. Chito's getting the shot. Marab seems to be next after that. So what do you make of this title picture?
Что ты думаешь о титульной ситуации в дивизионе? Сейчас Чито драться за пояс. Стерлинг ушел на категорию выше. Кажется, Мираб будет следующим. Как ты в целом оцениваешь ситуацию?
Я считаю, что Марлону Вере дали подарок. Он не заслуживает драться за пояс, так как он проигрывал Кори Санхегену. В целом, это, конечно, не мне решать, кому драться за пояс, но я намерен серьезно вернуться и забрать свои реванши.
I think Marlon Vera got a gift. Got gifted this title shot because he lost to Corey Sanhagen. Obviously, it's not for me to decide who is the title challenger, but I'm seriously in the mood to get back for the title race.
Шон выбрал себе соперника, удобного, кого он, так скажем, понимает, что он может выиграть, так как другие претенденты, которые есть, он понимает, что он не победит их.
Yeah, Sean just to pick a contender that he could beat because he doesn't believe he can beat any other top contenders in the division.
И я напомню, как он выиграл бой, как он выиграл этот пояс в поединке со мной. Ему просто подарили этот пояс.
And just to remind everyone how he got his title shot, because he got gifted the decision in a fight against me.
So going off of that, given that you feel that Sean was gifted a gift and Chito was gifted this title shot, who do you think wins in that fight?
Учитывая, что Чито, так сказать, ему подарили этот шанс, и Шону тоже в свое время подарили, как считаешь, кто из них победит?
Честно сказать, 50 на 50 в этом поединке. Кто сможет навязать свой стиль, так скажем, свой план на бой.
To be honest, it's 50-50. Whoever could force his game plan, his style, he's gonna get the win.
Just last one for me, considering how you do feel about the gifting going on, who do you think of the top 15 at Bantamweight would be the toughest fight for you in that title race?
Учитывая ситуацию в дивизионе, как ты считаешь, из топ-15, кто будет самым сложным поединком для тебя на пути к титулу?
Честно сказать, мне интересны те поединки, в которых я уступил, который даже выиграл, но уступил. Это Мираб, Шон.
To be honest, I'm interested in rematches, you know, in the fights that I lost, even or in the fights that I won, but was announced as a loser. So I'm interested in Sean and Mirab.
Pedro over here. Song Yadong is well aware of your threats you present as a fighter, as he said earlier when he was in here. But it seems some people may have pushed you to the side when looking at this fight, given the results of your previous outings maybe. Do you see this fight as a time to remind everyone of what they haven't seen in a while out of you, since we haven't seen you fight in a while, or is it in like also that you could still hold the title again one day? Is this kind of like a I'm back type of moment?
Сонг был здесь ранее, и он прекрасно понимает твои опасные стороны. Считаешь ли ты, что этот бой — это возможность напомнить всем о себе, учитывая неудачные результаты предыдущие, и вернуться в титульную гонку?
Да, конечно. Сонг, он молодой, он голодный, заряженный, но, безусловно, для меня это огромная возможность вернуться и доказать, во-первых, самому себе, что я имею навыки для того, чтобы побеждать.
Yeah, of course, Song is young and hungry opponent, and for me it's opportunity, first of all, to prove to myself that I have skills to win and get back in the title picture.
And where does a big win over Song Yadong do for you? Like, what would be next for you if it was up to you?
Что большая победа над Сонгом даст тебе, и что будет дальше для тебя?
Во-первых, это для меня будет отличным показателем. Я не хочу сейчас заглядывать за спину Сонгу, он достойный соперник, вот, но я намерен сводить его в школу.
Yeah, I don't want to look behind Song's back. He's a good opponent, but I'm willing to bring him back to school.
And last one for me. You've had your exchanges with the guy, Ilia Topuria, and I just wanted your thoughts on what he went out and did against Volkanovski to become champion.
Твои мысли о Топуре, о том, как он стал чемпионом, победив Волконовски?
Я просто считаю, что Волконовский еще не восстановился после боя с Исламом, и этот поединок для него был ранним, так скажем.
I think Volkanovski didn't recover from a fight with Islam, and he took this fight too early.
Если вы видели первый раунд, то Волконовский неплохо себя показывал.
Yeah, if you seen the first round, he showed himself pretty well in the first round.
И я думаю, что если бы он не начал вот эти переходы с одного веса в другой, то долго бы он конкурировал еще в этом весе.
Yeah, and if he would have jumping division like he did back and forth, he would have been still a champion for a long time in the featherweight division.